Hey, soldiers, I don't know why everybody's so worked up about the World Economic Forum's annual meeting in Davos, Switzerland. I don't know why people approach it from the standpoint of it being so secretive and clandestine. These people are telling you exactly what they want to do. Okay, they're being very upfront about it. And look, in short, it's world domination. Nothing less exotic than that. Okay, every James Bond villain, every cartoon villain, Lex Luthor, this is what we have here. So the world is going to say, hey, yeah, I remember, when World War One got started, and Wilhelm II, who was the German that was instrumental in perpetuating that conflict. Then a few decades later, we had another individual from Germany. Okay, we're not going to mention his name because it's funny, everybody knows who I'm talking about, but there have not been any people with his surname since him. Okay, he was so terrible. Now we got Klaus Schwab, another mastermind out of Germany, bent on global domination. But let me tell you something. This guy's extremely intelligent, and he intends to make it happen without firing a shot. Okay, where'd this guy come from? Who is he? I don't know. But let's talk about what he wants to do. And if you think that just because this guy's got a heavy German accent, he's not focused on the world, America in particular, because we're kind of the recalcitrant ones. Okay, we're the stubborn children with our First and Second Amendment and our these notions about private property rights and all of this jazz. Okay, we've got to be brought to heel. And so we see that over in the World Economic Forum right now, these ideas are being put forth. Okay, they're basically saying, America, you're going to come along with the rest of the world. We're going to change your economy. These things, it's this old antiquated document that you cling to, the Bill of Rights. You're going to have to put that by the wayside. And I know a lot of people are saying, over my cold, dead hands, and, shaking their fists. But guess what? It's going to happen. And let me tell you why it's going to happen. Because people who see it, understand what's going on, and want to resist tyranny, well, we're not immortal. Go ask your children and grandchildren how they feel about some of these initiatives being put forth by the World Economic Forum. Go ask them, how they feel about capitalism versus maybe socialism, and see what they have to say. So there's a generation coming into power with each passing day that's going to be a lot more receptive to these types of philosophies that are going to result in less economic power, okay, to say the least. What's being crafted, and you see this at Davos right now, you see that there are the elites, quote unquote elites, okay? They believe that they have the right to plan the direction of the world for the rest of us, okay? And it just so happens, and they're showing you this, that they're going to exist in a different economic strata than the rest of us. They are going to continue to be allowed to fly around in private jets. In fact, this very Davos meeting, Greenpeace is out there slamming the Davos crowd, saying, you guys are actually meeting in part to talk this climate change jazz, but you're flying private jets to this thing. They did a study and determined that 53% of the private jet trips to Davos were short-haul flights. So they're coming from nearby countries. And they flew below 470 miles. And they're saying that could have been that you could have got on a train. But oh no, you can't get on a train if you're an elite. You got to understand they're building an economic environment that is two-tiered. Them and us. Now, also in this Greenpeace study, they said that 350,000 average car trips could have been taken for the 1,040 trips that the private jet crowd took, okay? So, again, okay, they even want to take you out of your internal combustion engine car. And the issue I have with that is not the concept of the electric car, because I do like that concept, okay? I was having a conversation with one of the soldiers today in the comment section of another video talking about, how the battery on a Tesla is really long-lived. Okay, great. But remember, the government did not have to step in and subsidize or demand that at a date specific, you were no longer going to be able to use your landline phone. They didn't need to do that because the cell phone and then the smartphone was a market solution that was obvious. People wanted it. They saw the value. And to the extent these EV manufacturers can produce value on par with at first, and then value above and beyond, we're talking range, we're talking, ubiquity of refueling stations, okay? We're talking these things, luxury, price, okay? To the extent that these things can be accomplished by these manufacturers, then, of course, that industry is going to take off like every industry before that provided an extreme amount of value over and above the existing product at a more affordable price, okay? When the Model T came out, you didn't have to feed it, okay? You didn't have to take it to the vet like you did with your team of horses who might have, conveyed you around the city, dragging your wagon around, right? All right, so the first thing they're going to attack is the Bill of Rights over here. Listen to this guest at the World Economic Forum talk about the fact that they're going to institute hate speech laws in the United States. Now, if she's got a strong accent, doesn't mean she's not a United States citizen, but I don't think she is. And listen to how she kind of laughs off like, oh, you guys think you're keeping that First Amendment? Whatever. And also, I want you to notice Brian Stelter. He was a guy that used to be on CNN, and he recently got fired because he didn't have the ratings to remain on television. And I always say about this guy, Brian Stelter is the man that puberty forgot, but male pattern baldness didn't. In any event, here we go.
We need the people who understand the language and the case law in the country. Because what qualifies as hate speech, as illegal hate speech, which you will have soon also in the US, I think that we have a strong reason why we have this in the criminal law. We need the platforms to simply work with the language and to identify such cases.
Okay, so you're going to lose that First Amendment right. And the hate speech, that will be a moving target. All right. It will be one thing today, and then when another affinity group shouts loud enough, you say anything about them, then it'll be, your turn to get persecuted and prosecuted and thrown in jail, lose your livelihood, maybe even have your bank account attacked and shut off for a little while. Because all of this, if you look at the World Economic Forum's actual website, again, okay, there's no need for people to be running around here talking about, oh, we're trying to find out what they're doing. They're telling you what they're doing straight up. So this is what they're into, okay? Blockchain, that's an element of the economy right there. Health and healthcare, the digital economy, trade and investment, workforce and employment. And this group is really savvy, okay? It was really easy to draw bright lines between what was going on in Germany in World War II and the rest of the world, okay? There was a moral component to fighting that type of fascism, right? But now we have an economic fascism that is coming to the fore that is going to oppress people globally so that a very few people can feel self-satisfied about whatever it is they think the agenda of the world should be. And it will be at your expense. I guarantee it. Now, there are some things that you can do. Now, we talked about this before on the channel. The world's changing, guys. The guy from Nomad Capitalism, he's got a YouTube channel here on the platform. He talks about relaxing your attitudes around allegiance to a certain country. Okay. Now, that might get people up in arms. People might say, hey, man, what are you talking about? I'm patriotic. And I am too. But that patriotism is not born out of a love for the government. It's born out of a love for the country. I like the country. Let's separate one from the other. All right. And as for me personally, I don't see myself ever fleeing or leaving. I'm not going to say fleeing because that has a negative connotation to it. But I don't see myself ever coming to the conclusion that I'm going to leave the United States of America. I don't see that. However, anyone who does make that determination, I do not begrudge them. All right. You can be freer, depending on your definition of it, in other parts of the world. Okay. America has been sliding toward a neo-tyranny for quite some time now. And it's not going to get any better, guys. Again, as that new generation comes in, they're more accepting of, looking at things a certain way. And one of the reasons why the younger generation is so susceptible is because, do we even know? I mean, how many U.S. service personnel, veterans, are still alive with us today that can keep that story of World War II and that type of thing going, okay, in terms of understanding what happened? We've got fewer and fewer of those individuals on the planet, okay? I don't think maybe we got a handful of people worldwide who can actually tell you what it was like to live through the Great Depression. I'm not talking about people born in the 1930s because they really didn't have anything to compare it to, and they were very, very young. Okay, so probably weren't conscious of it. But as we forget collectively, as society pays less and less attention to history, and as we forget these types of events that, when that thing called toxic masculinity, when, testosterone was pumping through the veins of America, okay, and the West, we understood these dangers. But we're letting another German megalomaniac come along and say, this is my plan for the world. Out of nowhere, this is my plan for the world. Energy transition, financial and monetary systems, health and healthcare, manufacturing, mobility, all of these things touch the economy. And you're going to get the excrement end of the stick in terms of being able to live a life that is defined by more than just working for the man for subsistence and survival. So let me wrap this up. On this channel, we focus on financial independence. We never said it would be easy, okay? I can tell you, coming out of West Baltimore, without a dime to my name, being homeless, it's a challenge, okay? Yes, I was homeless at one point in my life when I was young. I was in college, okay? But I kept moving. Financial independence is not a destination. It is a journey that you will be on for the rest of your life, and you will have to also plan for that journey to continue with your heirs if they want to be free. Okay, we just celebrated the nation just had the Martin Luther King Jr. Birthday recognition on a couple of days ago. And after King started talking about civil rights, he rightly started to pivot toward economic power. Okay, because he understood that without that, you can have all the political power in the world. Look at Baltimore City. We got nothing but black people with a whole bunch of political power running around, and the city is in an economic, educational, and crime-ridden. It's a mess. Okay, so let's not confine that to one ethnicity. This is the type of thing. If we see it happen one place with one demographic, we can certainly extrapolate that and say, you know what? Yeah, don't mistake political power for economic power. They are two totally different things. Listen, guys, go out there, acquire assets. All right. Real tangible assets, land, where you and your family, if need be, we got to, have a mindset where we go back to this thing where it is okay for the family to come together and live on a few acres, okay, and be able to support one another. That's something that's got to come back into vogue, and something I'm working on right now. You're going to hear more about that. We'll take you on that journey as we move further with the channel. Don't be afraid to redefine wealth. Wealth cannot be defined any longer in this country as a McMansion, some red bottom shoes, and a flashy car with a exorbitant monthly payment. Wealth has got to be first defined by your level of freedom from tyranny. And that starts with your personal economy. The reason for that is because if you can't feed yourself, you're not free. If you have to rely on the government, in order to put a roof over your head, you are not free, because at any moment, the man can say, well, you said something wrong, like that lady we saw just a moment ago. You said something we didn't agree with, so now we're going to have to punish you. So we're going to use this central bank digital currency, throttle or cut down on your ability to spend for the next 6 weeks. Oh, by the way, we're only going to allow you to get enough gasoline in your tank, take your butt to work, because we still want you paying taxes. So you got to pay that income tax. So you're going to be allowed to go to work, but you come on right back home. That's all the gasoline you're going to get until you get your mind right. Don't think it can happen. Look to the north with your neighbors, your maple syrup swilling neighbors in Canada. Okay? Fidel Castro's love child, Justin Trudeau. Look what he did when those truckers had their protest. Okay? He attacked their finances. And the finances of anybody that supported him. All right, so look, on the road to financial independence, staying on that road, being able to acquire assets. One thing you want to take a look at is, all of these recurring charges you might have out there that you can claw back and use to purchase assets, like that land we talked about. Here's a review of the app Rocket Money. Now, when we do these reviews, they are not sponsors. We do not get paid by these people. These are honest reviews. Check this out. It may help you to figure out how to save some more money so that you can acquire more assets. You're going to need them where we're going as a society. Guys, I'll talk to you soon.